Here's how to get really, really good at shooting people in the studio or on location using one light. And let me explain this, but I'm going to show you, I want to explain what I'm using here. I'm using the AD200 Pro version 2, and I'm using the extension head. So this is the old extension head. It will work on the AD200 Pro Mark II, but you can't use the new heads on it. I had to use that round head instead of the bare bulb because it doesn't connect to this side of the cord. So they are working on the new updated version for the AD200 Pro Mark II. It should be out soon, but I don't know when. Now, I'm also using just a umbrella softbox. These things are so nice and quick and easy. They're not ideal by any means, but they work. And outdoors, I always have one of these in my trunk because if you're using a speed light or the AD200 Pro bare, if it falls over, this umbrella is going to protect your light. It's like in this little cocoon, it's protected. So I threw this arm on here to show you that I can use that arm to be able to tilt the flash, but it's too heavy for this light stand. And I really wanted to show you this umbrella set up with a light stand, so you don't have a big studio set up or anything like that. The umbrella softboxes are great. If I'm shooting outdoors and I'm using a lightweight stand and a speed light, this is what I'm going to use because if it falls over, I'm safe. So I'm getting rid of the arm and I'm just going to use this light flat. And you'll see this basic setup and not tilting the light 45 degrees down and all the stuff that you heard of and, that are absolutely, this is what you have to do, really doesn't come into play. The light from this is going to go everywhere anyway. It's a softbox. It goes forward. Tilt it to the left or to the right, it'll be fine. Anyway, this putting it up this high too, by the way, using an extension head like this makes this so much safer because all your weight is down the bottom. So really consider the extension head if you're using the AD200 Pro and or AD200 Pro Mark II, but I would wait for the new cord, rather than buying the old cord, instead of having to buy two, and you'll be able to use the current heads that are in the box on the Mark II. Anyway, easy setup. Now, before you come at me, about shadowing in the backdrop, I would say 90% of my clients request it. The only ones that want pure white backdrop are people that are posting on Amazon. Everybody else wants the shadow. They want that depth. A shadow on the backdrop gives you depth. And you can make it as subtle as can be like this. It's just a subtle gradient fall off to the left and you can see a little bit of a shadow, but it adds depth to the image because I'm shooting on a white backdrop. Otherwise, it just looks like a cutout person on a white backdrop. And anybody can do this. You add the shadow, get used to it, enjoy it, embrace it, and it'll give some depth to your image. Now, I'm shooting in manual mode on the AD200 because I don't have any luck with TTL and Sony cameras. It's a little bit better with Nikon cameras, but not much. But it's absolutely horrible on Sony cameras. So I'm just set to manual. I'm probably at 1/4 power. I'm at 200th of a second on the camera, f2.8 to 3.4, something like that. ISO 64. It's just an easy setup. And you'll notice I don't move this light on this side. I'll move it to the center and to the other side, but it stays at the same distance, so I don't have to touch settings. The only time I have to dial it back is when I'm in the center, which is coming up, and I'll show you. But other than that, this is just straightforward. I don't have to worry about anything. The only thing I care about right now is myself and the model in front of me. And it could be any client, a headshot or anything like that. You're able to talk, have fun, have a conversation and not worry about your lighting. And your interaction with your client is the most important part of photography. Getting them to open up and come out of their shell and relax in front of the camera is everything. Adding 3 lights or 4 lights or 2 lights and having to adjust and move, and that takes away from that. It takes you away from your client. That's why I love one light setup so much. Now, I've been doing this for 40 years, and I can use any lighting setup, 1 through 4 to 6. It doesn't matter to me. It's quick and easy for me. But when you're starting out or, even a few years in, one light is the way to go. So you can interact with your client and I'm not like fiddling and looking unprofessional or not knowing what I'm doing. I just set the light and forget it. That's it. And I'm just enjoying the shoot. She's enjoying the shoot. We're talking, we're having fun. I'm reacting to the photos, telling her she's amazing. Well, she actually is, but she's really good at this. So she does make this look a lot easier. But other than that, and for this type of person, she may go into poses I hate, but I just keep shooting and having fun because I know sooner or later she's going to pop off an amazing pose that I'm going to love. So I don't mind the ones in between that are just mediocre or, her eyes are in the wrong position or, for her, I don't say anything, because I don't want to bring her down whatsoever or deflate her enthusiasm. I just let her go and have fun. Now, moving this to the center, like I said, there's a little bit of a hot spot on this because I'm using that red round Fresnel head, and it's closer to that back. So we will create a little bit of a hot spot in that in this type softbox. Now, like I said, this isn't the perfect softbox, but I would recommend you always have one of these in your trunk. If you're an outdoor shooter, that wind takes it over, you're going to be so happy that softbox was damaged and your light will be perfectly fine, protected in this little cocoon. Anyway, again, I'm pushing for shadows. Now, if I want a little bit less shadow, I'll pull her towards me a little bit, especially when the light is on the side because it doesn't matter. I don't have to readjust. But if I want more of a shadow, I put her to the back more. It's really that simple. I don't have to move the light. I can just say, oh, come a little closer or move back just a little bit. And that's my only disruption in the posing process for her. And I really never pose anybody. I let them get used to it. Now, even with the new people, like I'll say, hey, turn to the left and just bend the knee. And then I let them move and I talk and they'll pop into their own poses. They'll get more comfortable. The ones that keep saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. Just be natural, have a discussion. When you move, their poses, they're like perfect. And they're you. That's what you have to tell your model. Just relax and have fun. You taking away the lighting situation where you have to adjust and keep moving stuff. Believe me, it makes the posing and all this stuff so much more effortless. Now, again, I probably move this light 1, 2, 3 times, 4 times in the shoot, and now I just lowered it. I don't have to adjust anything. So that's the key here is, now the light coming in from the window, before you ask it, I'm getting 20% window light, 80% is coming from the softbox. And you'll see like the difference. You can't really tell with the video. It looks really bright and light. God bless videos, but it's not. She's dark without the strobe. But I am getting 20%. That's why, like, I have to laugh when everybody asks me about exposure. What was your exposure? What were your settings in your camera? It doesn't matter. Because unless you're shooting the same exact time of day with the same sun outside and the same cloud structure, it doesn't matter what my exposure settings are. They don't mean anything. Your exposure are going to be different no matter what. Even if you're in the same place at the same time of day, the sun could be, clouded or whatever. You know what I'm saying. Just don't concentrate on exposure. It really doesn't matter. The flash settings, it's a 1/4 power flash. It may be a half power for you or an 1/8 power for you, depending on where you're shooting. And if you're using mixed lighting like this. Anyway, that being said, sorry about the little rant. Now, when I'm moving this back and forth, I'm feathering the same way. It doesn't look that way because of the camera angle, but it's still just parallel to her up just a little bit. It's just throwing the light, feathering it across her. And you can see on her right side, even with that scrim, it's darker. It gives a shadow because it's not. I'm not getting more than 20% window light. Again, I'm pushing for those shadows in the floor because it does give your image depth. For all of you that say it's just not professional, believe me, clients want it, and you'll like it if you just start embracing it. Anyway, this was a long ramble, but I hope you enjoyed the shoot, and I really, want to push this. If you're just starting out with flash, use one light, and don't be afraid of manual. You set it, forget it, and don't worry about it. Just have the shoot. If you have any questions, leave them below. Thanks for watching as always. Really enjoyed this shoot.